The song lasts 4 minutes, but by the second note, the room has changed years. You are not just listening to a melody. You are being pulled back in time. A few notes can bring back fragments of a raining morning, the vibration of a steering wheel on a forgotten road, or the layout of an apartment you have not lived in for decades. For a moment, an earlier version of you feels close enough to touch. How can sound recover an atmosphere that has been quiet for so long?
It often begins in an ordinary moment. You may be driving, folding laundry, washing dishes, or resting while your mind has room to wander.
Then a familiar song appears, and the present loosens its grip. Warmth arrives first. Then longing follows. You are glad the memory returned, but you can also feel how much time has passed. That mixture is part of nostalgia. It can hold comfort and loss in the same breath. Research suggests that familiar music can be a powerful cue for autobiographical memory, the memories connected to your own life. Sometimes remembering takes effort. You deliberately search through a period, place, or person until one event comes into focus. A song can work differently. It may prompt a memory directly and unexpectedly before you have decided to look for it. The experience can feel effortless. The sound acts like a key, and a drawer of connected details opens. Inside that drawer, the memories are rarely isolated facts. They are clusters of ordinary things that once belonged together. A song may bring back the route you took to work, the smell of a hallway, the glow of a dashboard, or the way Sunday evening felt in a certain home. It may remind you of people who heard the same music beside you. The song did not literally store those moments. It became connected to them while life was happening. That may be why music can make the past feel so complete. The first detail pulls another one forward. A chorus recalls a room. The room recalls a conversation. The conversation recalls who you were trying to become. Soon the memory is not only about an event, it is about identity. For a few minutes, the distance between your present self and your earlier self becomes smaller. But why does music from adolescence and early adulthood often feel especially powerful? Studies frequently find strong attachments to music first encountered during these years, although the timing differs from person to person. These periods often contain novelty, growing independence, changing friendships, first homes, first jobs, and important relationships. Music can become part of how those changes are experienced and remembered. For one person, the strongest songs may come from the mid-teens. For another, they may come from the early 20s. The important point is not a universal age. It is how closely the music became tied to a personally meaningful period. Sometimes the connection reaches even further back, into years you barely remember or never lived through yourself. A parent may have played the same album during long car rides. A grandparent may have kept an old radio on in the kitchen. Through repeated family listening, music from another generation can become part of your own childhood world. The nostalgia is not inherited like a physical trait. It grows through exposure, repetition, family stories, and the feelings attached to them. Still, the year that returns is not a perfect recording. Autobiographical memory is reconstructive. It rebuilds the past from pieces, and some pieces remain clearer than others. The song may return the rain against the window, but not the argument that happened later. It may bring back the feeling of possibility while leaving out the boredom, uncertainty, or inconvenience that surrounded it. This does not make the memory false. It means remembering is an active process, shaped by what remained meaningful enough to keep. That is also why the same song can feel different as you get older. The sound may stay almost identical, but the listener has changed. A lyric you once connected with freedom may later feel like loss. A song tied to one person may eventually become part of a larger chapter. Each return adds the perspective of the present to the fragments of the past. When the 4 minutes end, the room settles back into the current year. The weather outside has not changed. The road ahead is still the same one you were driving, but something has moved. For a few moments, the music let an earlier version of you feel close again. It reminded you that the person you were did not vanish. Parts of that life are still connected to the sounds that travel through it. Maybe the song did not keep the year untouched. It kept a path back to the person you were inside it. If you want more quiet, source-grounded stories about memory, feeling, and the hidden patterns of daily life, you can subscribe to Recallor. And if the past sometimes feels better than it really was, the next story begins there. Some years do not disappear. They wait for the right sound.